We already talked about this on Instagram, but the term the God's Nepo baby is such a crazy bar because God doesn't have nepotism for his children. So I wanted to go over some tips and tricks and things that I just think that are really important that should be said all in this one video. Even if you're not following the Instagram series, then if you're following the Instagram series, then you're kind of caught up on all of these. But if you're not following the Instagram series and this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, just make sure that you're sticking through, just so that you're getting more information about this kind of stuff. So let's start at God being God's Nepo baby. That phrase is super catchy, but it's easily to drift into a mindset that doesn't line up with what the Bible is actually teaching about money, favor, and purpose. And like, let's get into that a bit. So, in scripture, financially blessing isn't always about favoritism or special access. It's about stewardship, responsibility, alignment. For example, the parable of talents. This is something that teaches you what you're given, with whether it's money, skills, opportunities. It's meant to be grown and managed well, not just received. In the book of Proverbs, we learn that it emphasizes discipline, wise planning, integrity, and just your overall path to wealth. The Gospel of Matthew 6:33, seek the kingdom first, and all things will be added. That's the primary focus. That's your priority. It's not entitlement. So what's God favor actually look like financially? Well, it's not automatic wealth. It's not skipping effort, and it's not guaranteed luxury. What it is more like is opportunities opening up at the right time, or wisdom in decisions, investing, provisions when needed. Sometimes it's not always access. Sometimes it's just peace with your finances and not having to have that stress driven chasing and chaos in your life. You know what I'm talking about? So the real shift in your mindset has to be like, instead of I'm choosing this wealth, or it's chosen me and it's just falling all over me, say that you're entrusted. Say that you're entrusted when handling the finances that you already have. That's where your real power lies. If you're building a faith-built mind of wealth, be intentional, budget, invest, build your skills, stay generous. Giving keeps money from becoming your identity. Keep your purpose and make sure that money is just a tool and not the goal. So once again, you're not a Nepo baby, but you do have access. You have access to God's favor. You have access to discipline. You have access to discernment. All of these different opportunities that are going to help you to steer your life in a better way. That's going to be able to help spread the word of God. So it's not just about being rich and being wealthy and having fast cars and eating all the best dishes and traveling to all the best places. Yes, you might want to have those things. Yes, there might be some perks like that. Maybe, but it's not a guarantee because that's not what this life is all about. Now, I know I've been talking about money a lot on a spiritual level. I wanted to just give you guys some really basic tips. I have been reading this for a couple of months. It's called Crush Your Money Goals by Bernadette Joy. I love this book. I'm basically almost done with the book. The first couple of tips, I just want to run you guys by the we're going to go through the contents, table of contents, just so you know the types of things that you could be learning if you got a book like this. How to curate your accounts, how to reverse yourself into having total independence, how to heal your money wounds, how to get yourself out of debt. I recently got myself fully out of debt. I actually have no debts. I only have my car payment. So I guess you could technically think that, but it's only like a few thousand, so that doesn't really seem like a lot to me at this time anymore. So it's like that weight that you feel, that weight that gets lifted when you're able to take care of things and you're able to be fully independent and you feel yourself walking out of debt, running out of debt. Literally, it's just one of those really freeing feelings. So I wanted to give you guys some really basic tips that I had even before I started reading these finance books and watching finance podcasts and talking to other people who have businesses or acting them how they found their way out of debt. I think the most important thing, and I know it sounds redundant, the most important way for you to find yourself out of debt is you have to figure out a way to save money. I don't care what anyone else is telling you. You need to figure out a way to save money, because if you don't save money, you're never going to be able to invest. You're never going to be able to make your money be able to work for you. If you don't have money in the beginning, you're not going to have an opportunity to make your money work for you. The best way that you can get your money to work for you is by saving. And so I feel like the only thing that you can really do if you're in a place where you're not saving a lot of money is re-budget. You need to know exactly what you're spending your money on. You need to know exactly where you're putting your money, whether it's your wants and needs, and you need to do this on a weekly basis in the beginning, if not monthly. If you're not able and you don't have the time to really sit down and do your finances, I know when you guys get that new job, or you get that pay raise, y'all are like, oh, I need a budget. Nah, you need a budget regularly, not just when you get a new job, not just when you get whatchamacallit. You need to be doing this on a regular basis. And as you begin to do this on a regular basis, you'll start to say, hey, that's not in my budget. I didn't put that in my budget. I can't afford that right now. I've already bought too much of that. And then you can start to say no to things. That's another really important thing. You need to be able to say no to making certain purchases. I would say my biggest problem is probably like food and hair. Like, I love buying hair products. I love getting a new wig. I love buying food. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm trying to go out to eat. It doesn't matter if it's Chinese. It doesn't matter if it's Japanese. It doesn't matter if it's African. It doesn't matter if it's Mexican. I'm trying to eat that. I'm not joking with you. This is such a serious topic for me. But I know that within my budget that I need to keep my hair budget. For example, my hair budget and my food budget. I need my food budget to be under $250 a month. I know it's really tight. My hair budget is $100 a month. I think this helps me out because then I don't go overboard with the wigs. I know that I can pick 1 to 2 hairstyles, and if I'm able to find a sale, then that is even better, and then I can keep that under $100. So figure out what it is that item that's making you splurge, that item that's really carrying you out of your budget every month. Every month you know that you're spending $300 to $400 on this item. Figure out what that item is and figure out how you can slim it down or cut it down. Once you figure out how to cut down that item, then you can start taking it to the next step. I would love to go a little bit deeper into budgeting. When I do a budgeting video, I'll probably go way deeper onto specifically how to actually build a budget, what it looks like. Maybe I'll make something for you guys to download for free, so that you guys can have your own budget. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments if that's something that you would like. But we're going to move on to the next step. Now that you have your budget and you know exactly how much money you're using where and how much you can allocate to your savings, you need to get a savings account. And I'm talking a high yield savings account. We talked about this on Instagram as well. I showed you exactly which 5 banks have the highest APY in the United States. I do have a video that I'm coming up with that's going to show us banks in other countries as well that have really high APYs as well. I think the very first one was Borrow, and then the one that I personally use is SoFi. That's a really good one. You can also see your net worth on there as well. But once you get to the point where this is going to be a kind of a combo, because once you get to the point where you're able to actually have a savings and you're able to allocate that money in your savings to an actual savings account that has a really high APY, let's say you're starting off with like a couple of extra dollars a month. Now you're getting $5 of interest every month. You take that $5 of interest and then you carry that over into an investment account, because that is no longer just money that's sitting around anymore. That's free money. And what do we do with free money? We risk it. And I know that sounds crazy. You're like, no, I want to take that free money. I want to go buy hair. I want to go out to eat. I want to go on a trip. I want to keep it. I want to hoard it, or I want to spend it. And that's really what happens. You tell yourself you're going to keep it. You're going to hold on to it, but you're rewiring your brain. It's like, no, we're not keeping and hoarding on to money, because hoarded money, it just ends up getting spent at the end of the day. When you find yourself in the bind, when something happens, it ends up spent. Use the money, and that's when you make your budget. I will go over this at a different time, but just know you have to allocate that money to be used somewhere else. So when you get that $5 or $10 in your high APY savings yield account, make sure you carry that over into an investment account. And when you put it in that investment account, make sure that you're keeping, especially in the beginning, keeping an eye on what type of investments that you're investing in, making sure that I think the most important thing that you can do before you even start investing is to learn and try to get yourself is immersed in whatever type of system that you're going to use. I personally use a lot of different systems. I actually think I'm going to make a video on that, as well as the top 5 best ways to invest. And if you ask me right now, what's the best way that I can break down my debt, get my savings up, get some money in my investment, that's it. You need a budget. And once you get that budget, put that money in your savings and take the extra money that comes out of your savings and invest that. So I would love to talk to you guys about a lot more in the next video. We talked about the Nepo baby. We're going to talk about being God's trust fund baby in the next video. Hopefully I can get that, guys, out to you by next week. I do want to pack a lot of information in there as well. And we'll also do a separate video on specifically budgeting and specifically investing. I already did a video on Instagram specifically about savings, but if you guys need another one that's more in depth, please reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. Thank you guys for your time, and make sure you subscribe and share this with any one of your friends who's having a little bit of trouble just getting their financing together. This video is literally for people who are just in the beginning of their savings journey, for young people in the beginning of their savings journey, or for even older people who just haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet. So thank you for your time. I hope you guys have a great Sunday, and I'll see you next week.